Sheet Saber. We're going to be talking through this basketball slate, and then we will talk some showdown football. Really, really good football slate. We still are waiting for some official news, I guess, but mostly I feel like we have I guess that one piece of official news is probably going to be pretty important. But Sheets, overall, I'm not playing much of the basketball tonight. What is your take? Because it feels like there's a lot of not great value, but decent potential value. But maybe it's being, I don't know, like Jaden Hardy at 35% ownership seems like a lot. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the right way is to approach it.
Yeah, maybe I'm missing something. I'm playing like 1% of Jaden Hardy, so I don't know quite what.
It could be that's a little bit of a bogus projection on him.
Yeah, I have him less. I have him at like a 19 points, so I don't know about that, but I'm getting like some of the other chalk we talked about. I'm still getting getting a whole bunch of Robert Williams and PJ Washington, and then the two main Detroit guys, Ivy and Beasley. I'm getting a bunch of that, and also going back to the Diabate from Charlotte, Jokic, Harden. I'm not getting any of these New Orleans guys. I guess maybe they'll look better when starters are announced, possibly. Is that possible? I mean,
I don't know. Well, I guess we need to know for sure who's playing. But it's hard to know because they have, if McCollins is in fact back in a go, it's a different situation. But I don't know why they're not projecting a little bit better. It does feel a little light on them for what it's worth. They also are kind of an ugly team sometimes, so they can kind of muck it up. But Trey Murphy would be the guy I feel the best about.
Brandon Boston, maybe
Brandon Boston. But again, we get McCollum back, which is important. And right now, I see Jordan Hawkins as being projected to start. I don't know that that's going to be the case. So it is. I guess maybe once we get starting lineup, some guys are going to look a little bit better. I mean, Elf and these guys are still playable anyway, but it does feel like we should want to do something. It's not like, McCollum is not as high usage as Ingram is. So it feels like there should be more to do there than what we're doing right now. But I only have Murphy at the moment.
And obviously there's news pending in Denver regarding Cat. I mean, that hasn't been confirmed yet, right?
Yeah.
And let me just see something else. So Portland, I mean, I haven't gotten anything confirmed with all that situation with Jeremy Grant or Scoot Henderson.
Well, I think you're going to start getting a lot of Hardy because Klay Thompson was just announced out.
Oh, well, there you have it, huh?
Thanks, Brendan. Yeah. So and Grimes, who we already expected out, is out as well. So I think that Dallas-Atlanta game is going to be the center of most of what people do, including the Jaden Hardy. Kyrie's in, by the way. He was questionable as well. I still like the PJ Washington play a little bit. This is a spot where I can see him hitting a bunch of threes.
Well, let's talk about the sucker play versus, or does the sucker play become the sharp play? About Franz Wagner.
I don't think there's any sucker. It's an insane narrative that is clearly has nothing to do with anything in reality. What do we think? What? None of these numbers are outlierish. He's not shooting 60% from the field in these games. He has his usage rate is during this last 11 games. It's the third highest in the NBA. I really don't understand what the argument is against it. I think it's the easiest play, and I've been riding this train. I'm not going to stop. He had one bad game against the Clippers. Other than that, he's just basically crushed. I don't really see why to stop in a great matchup. And there's no Suggs.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't hurt his chances.
Yeah, I mean, you have your highest other offensive guy. I mean, both Wagner plays, I think, are excellent plays. I actually was sorry that Suggs is out because I wanted to play Franz at lower ownership, and his projection went up quite a bit. I mean, he's projected at 50 as a medium, which is what I said he should be. So I can't not play him and there's a lot of upside on that too.
So I'm curious to see what happens with this Dallas.
Yeah. Would this be the night where you maybe take a shot on like a weird Cole Anthony play though? He's not starting, obviously. He wouldn't start anyway. They're going to bring Black in off the bench.
Oh.
But with no Suggs there, he's a guy who can get. I mean, as you know, he can get super hot quickly, and if that happens, I think he stays on the court more. But I think it's a really large. It's like a large field play. I don't think anybody in the world is doing it. So you'll be like in your own island, on your own island with it. But I think it's worth taking a stab at a play like that tonight.
Yeah, they got him 9 points right now. But there it is. Klay Thompson has been marked out. There it is.
Yeah, and so the how much of the Diabate are you getting to?
I was getting quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like it all depends what happens with this New Orleans and Dallas guys.
Yeah.
What you like? Spencer Dinwiddie at all?
Well, that's what Brendan's asking here too. Is if Kyrie is Hardy and/or Dinwiddie a good play? Now, if Hardy doesn't start and his ownership is like 50%, I think you could take a shot at fading it. If he's going to be like 20% or lower owned somehow and he's not starting, I would be well overweight that just because I think the upside's there. But I think that Dinwiddie would be the other one you consider. I think that I would have them rated pretty close on a night like tonight. As also against Atlanta, they're both going to have opportunity against a team that doesn't really play defense. So I would have no problem with either. Right now, I like Hardy a little bit better. But if you tell me that Dinwiddie is the one who comes in at lower ownership, I have no problem pivoting there. But I do think you're probably playing one of them in a good portion of your lineups. I'm curious who they start too, like without Klay. I guess that because they're projecting Hardy starting, and they just don't usually do that, but they might. It might be Dinwiddie. They could do something weird and play Max Prosper. I don't think so, though. I think it's probably going to be one of the guards.
Hardy, and I'm not. And as I'm going over, I'm not a big Grimes guy.
Yeah, for DFS, but
yeah,
he plays a ton of minutes.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
Well, he's out though.
Oh, Grimes is out. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so Hardy's got to be like a lock almost. I mean,
one of them is going to look like it, whichever one starts, and I just think getting the other one at lower ownership is.
What do you mean, him or who? Who's the second one?
Dinwiddie.
Oh, right.
For what it's worth, Dinwiddie, he played 27 minutes in the last game, and I don't know, he played really well actually. So I don't know that they wouldn't go back to that again.
Let me just see something. Now with new ones, it's still. I'm still getting some of the Tijuana, the South, the last chance of the OK Saloon, the Tijani Saloon.
Oh yeah, I just would call that a very high variance play in general. Just you're going to get the occasional 30s, but you're going to get a lot of busts. He's a kid. He's a baby.
Right.
All these French guys taking over there. Jesus, that in the draft this year, there was like 7 French guys in the first round or something. 6 of them.
Really?
Something crazy like that. Yeah, 1 and 2 also. Najee's going to start. I don't think that's really the question. It's who's going to start for Grimes is I think the question. I'd be shocked if Najee doesn't start. I'm almost positive he will.
I'll tell you, for a guy, how did Grimes get hurt just standing in the corner the whole time?
Like, he's a good defender.
I know.
He's just some of my favorite players. It's one thing I hate about how DFS started to change my brain. Some of like my favorite players to watch, like just guys who are really good defenders and great.
Yeah, I know.
You totally lose all that with DFS.
It's like what? It's like you go from like really hating guys like Jordan Poole to like
right. To like needing them. And then actually DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith actually is a good example of this about DFS. He's a really good real life basketball player. Every coach would want him to start for pretty much everybody. And at the same time, he's never a guy you really want to find yourself rostering in DFS.
Right. Jaden Hardy. Look at some of these projections if anything's changing here. I mean, it'd be like you said. I mean, it kind of depends who starts.
Yeah, more just even for perception. I wouldn't mind at all if Hardy wasn't starting.
Oh, definitely. If God forbid, like he gets some run outside with Irving on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good question from Brendan. How many Mavs would you max at today?
That's not
in this matchup. I wouldn't set him. I wouldn't try to limit a max. I think there's a path to get 4 or 5. I really do.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't think you need to. What's that, Cheats?
I wouldn't set anything.
Yeah, I think minimum of 2 though is probably not necessarily a rule you have to set, but like that's sort of, if I was hand building, I would try to build at least two Dallas guys in there. And I even like the idea of throwing in like there's like weird like low owned plays in that like Lively. It's not even that he gets a boost from this. It's just I like the matchup and the pace. And
what are you going to do about the Celtics bigs?
Yeah, I think that they sort of are on the outside for me. There's no official number. We got Porzingis at 28. That seems about right to me. So I don't think you're going to get that many minutes out of Tillman. You'll get some, but it won't be. I don't think it'll be probably enough because I'm guessing that Keita still gets as well. They've got Keita way down. I actually don't know about that. The projections, look, if they're hard to project. We haven't had the situation come up exactly, but it could be possible that Keita's just completely faded out, or it could be possible that. So that's the issue I have with the Tillman thing. Even is like, first of all, it hasn't happened once this year, and really, you're down 2 bigs, but you got back your higher usage big. So I don't know that you need to do anything really with it, to be honest with you. I guess Tillman at really low ownership is probably worth taking a stab, but not a priority for me.
And if Cat's out, I wouldn't play Jericho Sims, but
you know what though, you might have to.
I would,
because if they start him, you need a body to match up with Jokic, so it's either going to be him or Dadier. Dadier is too young and inexperienced. How else will they? I guess they could get unusual and play OG on Jokic.
What's Jericho Sims going to get? 2 points and 6 rebounds, and what's he? I mean,
who?
Jericho Sims.
Well, if he plays 30 minutes.
Okay, 4 points and 9 rebounds. I mean,
fair enough. I mean, but he doesn't. If he plays enough minutes, it's not like he can't put up 25 or 30.
Right, that's true.
I love the Jokic play tonight, but I think you can get to him easier now tonight. So he's asking how much of Jokic are you getting to? Because if I was building one lineup, I think I probably would have Jokic in it tonight.
Well, let me take a look. I mean, on DraftKings right now,
30% maybe.
65.
65. That's a lot. Yeah.
Well, because I'm getting all the Hardy.
Right.
And then I'm getting the last chance at the OK Saloon too, and the.
That's the wild one. I can't quite figure out where that projection.
Yeah, I don't know either. But you know what else I'm getting? I'm getting 30% of the Elf.
But see, that's the other speculation. These are still, I think, speculating on whether who ends up starting, right?
Yeah.
Because if some sites I know are projecting Elf to start, and some people are projecting not to.
I mean, if Elf starts, I kind of have to play him.
Yeah, I have no issue with that at all.
Then you got these other guys like Kevin Porter Jr. And
Kevin
then
Porter Jr. is just. I just want to I have a take on that one a little bit. That he always has there's no reason specifically to play him tonight, even with the other guys out. Like it's the same situation it's been. He definitely has upside, and he's not going to get much ownership. I don't think because I don't think that even your projection on him is not doesn't look like it's amazing.
Yeah, but then again, my projections I haven't updated in a little while.
Yeah. And then you've got this. Are you getting to this Jordan Miller play?
Who?
Jordan Miller for the Clippers. He's the other one who's gotten
No, I don't have any of that.
Yeah, he's gotten some run. He played 22 minutes the last game, had 20 fantasy points.
Well, I can always get to him later. I mean,
yeah, actually, it's at 7:30 though.
Oh God, for the Clipper game 7:30.
Yeah, from Boston. And he could get run. And by the way, he could definitely get some blowout run too if they do get smoked.
Yeah, look at that. Where'd that projection come from?
I think it's sort of based on because they're trending up his minutes the last 2. He's played in the last 3 games. He's played some minutes, and I guess if you count on him to play 20, that's also hurts Kevin Porter Jr. and Dunn and all the other guys. I wouldn't go out of my way to get any of those guys, but I absolutely would be fine leaving. If I had 20% of them, I'd have no problem. If I got like 70% of them, I would do something different.
Jordan Miller on the Clippers.
Hardy's Dinwiddie's both Dinwiddie. Now you're going to see. I think you're going to start getting to Dinwiddie and Hardy together. Is there a way? I'm going to try to do it right now. Okay, this is what I'm going to try to build.
Why they're both starting? You're saying?
Was that?
Why they're both starting?
No, I don't think they'll both start, but their projection just skyrocketed.
Okay.
Because they weren't. I think we were expecting Grimes, but not Clay out also. And it just. I understand why. And they're cheap enough where you can definitely play them both together. But the question I have that I want to try to figure out: can I build a lineup that doesn't? Oh my God, the lottery sold out already. Can I build a lineup that has Jokic, either one of Trey or let's play Kyrie also, and see what this looks like.
I got to tell you, I don't think this Jordan Miller thing. I think is just between you and me. I think it's unique to SaberSim.
You think so? Well, I'm saying that, but I could see the trend on him though.
Okay.
But again, I think they're counting for him playing 20 minutes instead of him playing. That's what I think is going to be different than him.
Yeah, he's taking it from.
It just dropped down. It just dropped down a bunch.
Okay.
It looks like it's mellowed out. Yeah, it's down to. They have him now at 15 minutes. Before he was at 20.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah. So. Oh, can I get? That's the thing. I have too many spend-ups that I like today. I guess you could fade Kyrie and play the other two guards. That's probably the best way to do it. And Wagner.
You want to talk about the football a little bit?
Yeah, let me just throw this one lineup in before to see if I can get it in there. Yeah, it's a great game. I'm loving the actual game. Let me just do this. Dinwiddie, Hardy.
So I got a couple of rules I'm putting in here, and I got a couple of takes here from this football game. First of all, it is like revenge for like the entire Chargers backfield. I think.
Yeah, this is teams. That's what happened.
Everybody's going in there, but I'm actually playing it a little differently. I'm playing the Chargers to be passing it more. I'm playing I'm playing those receivers kind of heavy. All of them really. Johnson and Palmer and the McConkey. I'm playing all those guys, and Disley as well. And I'm even taking some tiny little shots at the two uber cheapos, just in the lottery, just to try to get something going. In Stone Smart and not Finch, whatever his name is. Whatever the other cheapo is for the Chargers, easy to find him. It is Fisk. Sorry, just maybe like get one catch or something like that. I'll even take a shot, maybe a DJ Shark, just a couple of just playing kind of the receiving game. I don't think I'm really playing much, if any, of the J.K. Dobbins at that price. If anything, I'll play some Gus Edwards just in case. And the other thing I kind of struggle with, I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to play that goal line dude, the Hassan guy. I think in a weird way, I think he's going to get a little overowned. I think he's going to get like 10% or something, just because he literally is like a specialist. They bring him in, he's got like four goal line looks or something like that.
Right.
It's just really seeming to thread the needle, to like play him just for that, So I don't think I'm going to do that. As far as the Baltimore side goes, there's not a lot of hoodoos to play, if any. Like, I'm not going to get to the third tight end. I'm not going to play Kolar. But I am going to make a rule. This might be kind of dumb, but I am going to make a rule that I'm only going to play one of the two tight ends. Whatchamacallit? Likely or Andrews, but I'm definitely playing both of them. I'm just not playing them in the same lineup. And I've heard some talk that like Nelson Aguilar is a particularly good play. I'm not really as much of a believer in that. I mean, if I get to him, I get to him. I'm not like going out of my way to jam in Aguilar. But listen, Deontay Johnson's cheap enough at 3K and all these guys. But Zay Flowers, I think could be. I think he could be a captain. I think that Derrick Henry could be a captain. I'd love to play people besides Lamar and Herbert as captain, just because they're going to be so freaking popular in there. It's kind of hard though. I mean, Lamar is just the highest scorer every freaking game, So I think in my Lamar captain lineups, that's when I'm gonna have to play some of those ridiculous plays. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I like Baltimore in the game. First of all, it's an interesting matchup because both teams you can't run on, but the Baltimore especially you can throw on, and so that's what I did today. Is I went out of my way and made sure to get basically to spread out my ownership between the pass catchers. The highest owned one is Quentin Johnston. He's got a touchdown in 3 straight games. He only caught 2 of his 8 targets last week, still got 11 fantasy points, and I think his price is reasonable enough to take a shot with him. So I'm trying to use the pass catchers as captains, trying to get less of the Henry than the Field, just again because of the matchup. But I also want to get more of Justice Hill because Justice Hill is going to get run in certain spots in a competitive game, and he's going to get third down work. I always like the Justice Hill on these small slates. So I'm playing both backup running backs, in other words, but I'm not playing the starting running backs very much. And so Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. And then my main owned guys are the McConkey, Johnston, Zay Flowers, obviously Lamar and Herbert. Disley is another one I got captains of. He's going to be pretty popular at captain, I think, for what it's worth. So I like getting a little different.
Who, Disley?
Yeah. Saberson right now has him as the 5th highest owned captain. And I don't think that's
maybe he could just able to get a lot of guys in if you played him.
But he's not that crazy cheap. Like he is pretty cheap actually. That's not fair. He's cheap enough. And he's had some good games. But I think that's my overall thing is that I like the pass catching angles as opposed to the running backs here a little bit more.
It's weird. I'm finding difficulties getting to Justice Hill. I don't know why. It's just in my non-adjusted builds. I'm just not getting there. It's so strange.
He's like on the every other week program. Every other week he's decent enough for a showdown slate, and then So I don't think you need to go out of your way to make sure. I just wanted to get some of him. I have him like basically near the field. I have like 25%, nothing crazy, but I do have him as a captain a couple times because he's so cheap. And I do think you can get away if it's a stack everyone in to try to use the cheap captain. So like the guys who I have that are my cheapest captains, I guess it probably is Justice Hill. And I'm not doing any of the things you mentioned, the Haskins, Fisk, or Stone Smart for me. Just not getting there.
There's no need. I mean, unless you're playing like a ton.
Yeah. Justice Hill, Will Disley are I think the cheapest captains I'm comfortable using. If you wanted to get really creative, which you really don't need to, I think you could make a case for Darius Davis.
Yeah, I'm getting a little of that.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for Jalen Reagor, but I think that's a little bit more of a reach. But the Davis seems reasonable to me. It is interesting though that even they just took Baltimore's. They literally just completely took Baltimore's running backs from last year and just decided, okay, well, we'll just bring them out here. All right, so going back to the question about basketball, just real quick about the top player in each position. I have both guards from Dallas, but then I like Ivy probably the next best. And then I think that I'm playing Franz Wagner. I don't care. Power forward, Robert Williams or PJ Washington or Najee Marshall would be the thing. I like Mo Wagner a little more than I like Diabate at center. Those are sort of my general takes for each position. And I think the pay up is naturally Jokic now. I also would think if you can, we don't know this Knicks stuff, and we may not know till later. maybe that's the contrarian rule you could consider setting, is to make sure to have one Nick.
Okay.
Just in case. And even if not, by the way, it's not like, I mean, look, 2 of them are going to get there just because the minutes alone. That might be an interesting contrarian way to try something. That's what I'm doing, Brendan. I'm playing Franz and Jokic together. And I don't care about people saying this Franz. Look, he's going to have some bad games. He's not going to get there every night. But nobody's been more consistent than other than Jokic and him over the last 11 games they played. I also am seeing the De Silva pop up a little bit more now, by the way, in basketball. Just to go back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. De Silva and the Silwan. I think the De Silva is my favorite, my preferred. What else is coming in? Let me just double check. And we still don't have official word on what's his name. Do we? Oh no, they did announce him. No, we still don't have word officially on McConkey, but he's going to play.
He's playing.
Yeah. Guy's good. I stand corrected. I lost my who's going to have a better season, him or Josh Palmer, and I lost it. I could tell halfway through the first game of week 1 that it was done.
He could have a good. Palmer could be good at low ownership tonight, I think.
I think so too. That's why I just manually did. I didn't even take down the other guys, but I just decided, okay, Henry and Dobbins are not gonna. If they get there, I'm probably not winning this slate. If they're the highest scorer. Thanks, hey Rashad, my man. Good to see you. Also think GPP. Contrarian play well. It's having 3 or 4. Oh, I like that idea, Brendan, quite a bit, actually. I'm always a sucker, not even a sucker. I believe in this Jalen Johnson a lot. So I like that idea as a run back, and I think it is a good contrarian play. Jalen Johnson and Trey aren't that far apart in what they even average this year. Like, it's kind of weird. What is he averaging now, fantasy-wise? Yeah, he's at 45.5, and Trey's at 47. And every slate, Jalen Johnson feels like he's under-projected to me. Really like that idea, actually. And I think Franz is going to be lower owned than the projections have him right now. That's just my guess.
Franz?
I just have a feeling. We'll see. It's hard though. The guy's playing 39 minutes a game. Like, I don't know. Like, against Charlotte. But yeah, there's a lot of. I think this is going to be a basketball slate where you need a lot of points. This is going to be one of those 380 wins at 400, something like that. All right, no new news anywhere. Guys, pop in any other questions and thoughts tonight. I want to rerun my thing, and I really don't want to end up with that much Henry.
Miles Turner, I still have as questionable, by the way.
Yes. Feels like he's been but he's like always feels like a legit questionable. And if he's out, then there you go. The whole slate's different.
And the whole slate is different.
Then we get the Moses Brown.
I forgot about that whole Moses Brown business.
Yeah. So now is the time to play Moses Brown if Turner's in, because you want to play him when he's like 2%, not when he's like 70%. Although actually he kind of gets there when he's 70% usually too. All right, what else is there? Let's see. I don't have a whole bunch else to go over. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'd like to get another build done on my. I don't love the build that I'm ending up with right now. Football.
Do you like any of the defenses tonight, or not so much?
I wouldn't play them if I don't particularly like them. I think I ended up with some of them because they're cheap, but like I don't really want that like much. I'm just looking how much I have. I have the Chargers at 3%, and I've got. I don't even know if I have the Ravens.
I think both teams are missing a couple of guys.
And they haven't been good. I mean, the Ravens haven't been good anyway. Ja Morant won't have a minutes. There'll be minute conscious with him. Great. They're finding new ways to say it all the time. You notice that? Like one year it'll be a trend of it, monitored or whatever. Yeah, Miles Turner's in, by the way.
Oh, Zaire Williams is getting a projection here. More than I thought.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And first he torched me that the other night when I finished I only had 20 lottery lineups or whatever, and I think he was what did I finish? I think it was in the 20s or something like that, and he was I had him with an 11 or something. But so I'm bitter. But did they announce anything with him that he's starting or anything? I mean, he's starting with what is the extra reason? I mean, just to go through his games, his last 4 games, 20 minutes, 8 fantasy points, 11 minutes, 3, 17 minutes, 13, 24 minutes, 14. He had some good games before that, but it's somewhat shooting reliant. Diabate isn't starting. I would take Diabate way down. Who is starting? Gibson. Oh, yeah. Diabate will still get minutes. Maybe as a contrarian play, you could use him. But
Did they just announce that?
Yeah. Salon is still starting. Josh Green is still starting.
Diabate's on what team? Toronto?
Charlotte. This is a tough NBA slate, man. It feels better for multi-entry to me because
they're all. You know what, Bobby? They're all hard.
You're right. That's fair.
They're just all hard.
But there's just I like the ones better where it's okay, we're trying to find the plays that can get there. Not we're going to try and decide between the 7 plays we know we're all going to get there, And it feels like that kind of a slate tonight where there's 7 guys who are just as spend-ups, between Wagner, Trey, Irving, Jokic, Jalen Johnson. I would throw into the mix as another one.
What a 3K Taj Gibson, is that playable?
No, he's started so far this year and he plays 12 minutes, I think. Okay. Yeah, he played 16 in one game. He still hasn't gotten there yet. He hasn't gotten more than 15 in the game. What else do we have here? Let's see. I would usually be pumped up to watch this game tonight, but I'm actually not going to be able to watch it, unfortunately.
Which?
I love watching the Ravens. They're my favorite team to watch.
Oh.
My Rams, but not tonight. As my girlfriend's got to leave for a while, so we're gonna hang out because it's an early birthday thing.
So good night, Raquel. Celtics. Probably not going to do any of that. So Charlotte is now different because Diabate's not starting. It doesn't mean he's not playing.
Yeah, he'll play.
What's his price?
49. I don't think that you'd go out of your way to prioritize him by any means, but he's certainly if you find yourself, if you have for people hand building, if you have a chalky build, using him instead of Wagner or maybe instead of Robert Williams in some spots, that might be an interesting contrarian thing. I just don't love it.
And do we have New Orleans starters?
No. Unless it just came in. Let me just double check. The Pelicans did start. Sorry. They are starting Elfrid Payton. Payton, McCollum, Green, Murphy, Tice. So
Which
basically
Tice?
A totally different starting lineup than we thought there would be. Yeah.
That's Daniel Tice, or is that the new guy, the new Tice? The new
Daniel Tice.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting, the Tice play. We just saw it the other night. He played, 18 minutes, I have 18 fantasy points. He's a pretty good fantasy point per minute player. I don't have an issue with playing him, but I think he's probably. I'm curious to see where the ownership ends up on him because it might be pretty high. I do think the elf play is definitely worth it. Although I will say that he didn't have hardly any usage in that game against Golden State the other day, but with no Ingram, even with McCollum there, I think he's still a good play. Yeah, probably still a good play. Boy, talk about a team with all the talent and future draft capital and everything that just cannot get it together. They haven't been healthy, but still, the Pelicans have just been dreadful.
Why? What do you mean their draft capital?
They have they have like Lakers picks for like 10 years.
Oh, from Anthony Davis?
Yeah. The Lakers are, the dumbest thing. It was one of the dumbest trades of all time because Anthony Davis was going to sign with the Lakers in the offseason. And they didn't want to waste a year of LeBron. So they traded Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram. They let go of Julius Randle for nothing, whatever you think of him. And who else am I missing? Somebody else too. And then they also traded like 7 years of draft picks. And for a guy they could have gotten for free. Yeah, I think Elf is going to look pretty good once these projections rerun.
All right, so this is like the last projection I can put up, but it's still not going to be great. But I encourage everybody, if you're going to use my projections, to use SaberSim's updated ones for the game, for these new games that just came in, like the New Orleans ones or stuff. I'm not going to be able to do these.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Oh, and Lonzo too. Yeah, Brendan Lonzo. They literally trade all these guys. Josh Hart, all defensive guy. Brandon Ingram, he's been an all-star most of his years since then. Julius Randle's been an all-NBA guy. And Lonzo, who was a borderline all-star with Chicago before he got hurt. And 7 million years of draft picks.
This guy's starting the saloon, huh?
Yeah, he was supposed to. He's just gonna. I'm just saying it's tough with these guys because he doesn't play that many minutes. He's not especially active. He doesn't have much usage. I don't know what my argument is for him. But those are all the reasons why I'm not playing much of him. He's had a couple decent games, but it's been a while. All right.
What are we going to give Elfrid Payton? 20? He's starting point guard.
He's kind of the point guard. He's McCollum, I think it'll be like 20, 23 or 24 is my guess. So not like a must play, but like a guy you're probably going to end up with a good amount of.
Five minutes, Stace? Stace, 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just rerunning my last football, and I have 5 guys double-digit owned. Flowers, McConkey, Lamar, Herbert.
A captain, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry. It's not the one thing is as great as Lamar is and everything. It's not. I don't feel like it's as much of a must play in the captain spot as it has been in years past. Now it's a great game for it, but he doesn't need to run the way he used to.
Because they have Derrick Henry, you mean?
Yeah, they have Derrick Henry, and they've got a competent receiving group. Their receiving group is better than it's been ever. All right. So I'll post in the Discord my updated ownerships here. I like where I'm at here. Johnston. I wish maybe a little less of Herbert. I like Herbert enough. Okay, we'll do it. I don't like the Dobbins thing that much. And yeah, it works. Likely we have, and we have, oh, we need one more of Andrews. Yeah, okay, that's good. And then run this in. I did want to mention something about the late swapping, guys. Just be careful when you're using the late swap that you adjust. Like if you're putting your own takes in, make sure you have a very tight prize pool range, because it defaults to 0 to 50. And I realized it with football the other day that it was leaving like 10,000 on the table because it was trying to force in my takes combined with this.
Oh, really?
So I was like, okay, I got to just tighten this up and make it 49,000 and then start over. All right, there we go. Okay, save the contests. We're going to save. That was such a frustrating end for Seattle to me. Jesus, literally, like I really thought I was gonna have a chance to at least come in the top 5 of the Million Acre.
Oh, the football?
Yeah, because they were there. Like at halftime, it looked like I was on pace to do it. It had every top play. I had the top 6 plays in the lineup.
I tell you, I got really lucky. I got through the Bengals bye week in my underdog best ball nicely.
Oh.
I didn't have Chase. I had to sit, Chase and Chase Brown and Burrow, but Chubb got lucky with a good game.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm probably gonna get at least one in the playoffs.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. All right. I am going to get going.
Okay.
Hope to see at least some of you near the top of the leaderboard.
All right, man. Have a good night. Good luck, everyone.